Good afternoon. This is Pamela Bluewater with J&S Biblical Productions at the home of Job in the land of Uz in Arabia many years ago. Job has totally recovered from the loss of everything he owned, his sons and daughters and his terrible sickness, and is ready to tell us what he has learned from all of this. Most importantly, he has repented to God after accusing him for his suffering. Let's welcome Job.
Thank you.
Job, it's so great to have you here. Now, my first question is that in spite of losing all your first 7 sons, 3 daughters, your sheep, camels, oxen, donkeys, and all of your servants, plus your health, including boils all over your body, do you still love God?
I most certainly do. I went through a trial, or you might say a test period. My 3 friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, were all sure there must be some dirty secret at the root of my newfound troubles, and they badgered me to confess some secret sin. This was a waste of time because many of the sufferings we go through in life cannot be neatly categorized. There are many whys that we will never know in this life.
I see, but isn't there a reason for everything?
Well, that's the problem. As humans, we would like for everything to be neatly pigeonholed. We want the world and the events in it to make sense. In trying to give an explanation for everything, we sometimes miss the point. That is what my 3 friends want to do.
All right, so let's get to what you have learned from your sufferings and from God.
Well, I'll start with this. It's easy to trust God when things are going the way we like them to. But what about when things are going poorly? It is in the midst of such confusion and anguish that faith in God is most needed. I loved God and served him out of sincere devotion. I trusted him even when I felt most abandoned. The lesson here is one of steadfast trust and is one of the most important aspects of character that one can gain from any trial, like in my example, to lose everything.
I think you said that in your story.
Yes, it was in chapter 13, verses 15 through 19. I'll read it. Though he slay me, I will hope in him, yet I will argue my ways to his face. This will be for my salvation, that the godless man shall not come before him. Keep listening to my words, and let my declaration be in your ears. Behold, I have prepared my case. I know I shall be in the right. Who is there who will contend with me? For then I will be silent and die.
Well, that's a very profound declaration of faith about trust in the face of anguish. Do you have any conclusion about God rewarding those who are good and those who are evil?
Yes, this is another lesson. I believe the Lord will ultimately reward the righteous and punish the wicked. Look at my case. The Lord blessed me with more than I had at the beginning of my story. After I had prayed for my friends and forgiven them, the Lord made me more prosperous than I was before my trial.
Do you have any final conclusion about how God operates and what he wants us to learn from his teachings?
Yes. Many schools routinely allow students to graduate regardless of what they've actually learned. God doesn't operate that way. God insists that we learn our lessons properly. It was only when I came to grips with the lessons that God wanted me to learn that I began to emerge from my great trial. God focuses on the bottom line. God wants us, through him, to become like him. A vital lesson in order to please God is to be able to apply mercy and forgiveness.
Well, it sounds like you've learned a great deal, but then did God award you?
Yes. The Lord made me prosperous again, gave me twice as much as I had before. I now have 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 oxen, 1,000 donkeys, 7 sons and 3 daughters. And one last thing, I'm getting to know God deeply, not to just simply know about him. I feel I'm a more humble and compassionate man as a result of what I went through.
I'm Job's wife. I'd like to add to the story. From everything that Job went through, I learned that God is involved in every test that we undergo. We must keep this in mind when faced with great adversity. God has established the limits which Satan cannot go. Neither the duration nor the intensity of the trial is open-ended. Ultimately, God is in charge.
Thank you so much, Job, and thank you for your conclusion. This is Pamela Bluewater with J&S Biblical Productions, leaving you with this thought. Our trials can make us bitter, or they can make us better. What will your trials do for you? Good afternoon.